right, let's go ahead and integrate our gradebook application into Liferay's asset framework now. So first part was getting it indexed. Next part, we're going to get our application into Liferay's asset framework. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to our gradebook web. And it's going to be there that we're going to start off adding our dependencies. So let's head over to the gradebook web. And in the gradebook web, and just cleaning up a little bit, we're going to head over to the build.gradle. Here in the build.gradle, we're going to add the dependency that's needed to get our application into the asset framework. So compile only. This is going to be a file. I always thought it's kind of weird. It's called files, but we're adding a specific file just so that's easier for us. So 3 levels up in the bundles folder, in the OSGI folder, and then from OSGI it's going to be modules, and then a jar file com liferay asset.api.jar. So go ahead, jot that down. And once you're ready, go ahead and save the file. Liferay Developer Studio does automatically update our build.gradle. Starts and stops our application, but I always like to do the build.gradle on our own. And as that's going on, let's head over to the gradebook service. So here in the gradebook service, I'm going to take a look here at the service.xml, and we're just going to confirm that all of the necessary fields needed for our asset integration is going to be there. We're going to wait a few moments here for Liferay to start responding. All right, now that we're here inside the service.xml, I'm going to take a look at the assignment and just going to take a look at the columns. We need to assure that the company ID is there. The group ID is there. Let's make sure it's right there. We need to confirm the user ID. Here's the user ID, the user name. It's right there. Also need the create date, that's right there. We'll need the modified date, and then finally the status. So making sure all of those are there. Next up, I'm going to make sure the UUID is also checked or true, and we can see that that is also taken care of for us. All right, so got that. The next thing we need to do is we need to add our asset object for our assignment object. What we need to do, right, is make it so that we create an asset that relates to the assignment that we're going to be creating. So we want that logic over in the local service impl of our assignment. So gradebook service, heading over to the impl class, and then assignment local service impl. So now that we're inside the assignment local service impl, we're going to be looking for the add assignment first. It's more towards the top. Once we're here at the add assignment method, we're looking for the comment letting us know that we need to add the updating our asset. So that's for me on line 142 or around that region for you. So we're going to be calling the method update asset. All right, and we're going to be passing 2 parameters here. All right, it's going to be the assignment object, and then we also need that service context object as well. So pretty simple there. In the same train of thought, we also want to delete the asset that corresponds with our assignment as well. All right, so we're going to be looking for our delete method. And once we find that delete method, right, we have that placeholder for deleting the asset. Right, so to do this, we need to call our asset entry object. So asset entry local service, and then we're going to be deleting the asset entry, in this case, just the entry itself. Now we have to work with what we can work with. All right, so we're going to have 2 parameters that we're going to be passing. Right, so the first one is going to be the name of our assignment. So that's going to be coming from the assignment object, class get name. And then for the assignment ID, we can get that from the assignment itself. Right, get assignment ID. Okay, since it's getting cut off a little bit, let's bump this down. Right, so what we need to do is we need to let the asset framework know that we have an asset that corresponds with our assignments. So the thing that connects everything together is that asset renderer, but in order to create the asset renderer, we create it using the asset renderer factory. So let's go ahead and create the asset renderer factory so that we can create our asset renderer to connect our asset and the assignment. All right, so we're going to head over to the gradebook web. So scrolling down to the gradebook web, and here in the gradebook web, I'm going to be creating a new package. So right-clicking the source main Java, heading over to new, followed by package, and then the name of the package is going to be com Liferay training gradebook web asset. We'll go ahead and click finish once you're ready to go. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to head down to our snippets. So scrolling through, we are now in 6B inside of the gradebook web and just expanding it out to the Java. And then we're going to be taking the asset renderer factory. So we'll go ahead and copy the assignment asset renderer factory, and then we'll scroll back up. So scrolling back up, we're going to paste that asset renderer factory into that package there. Right, now that it's there, I'm going to go into the class itself and let's see what's going on. So here in the error, we're going to see that we're going to be creating that assignment asset render. We're going to be bringing that class up pretty soon, so we'll take care of this error. Right, so it's going to be here that we're actually going to be getting our asset renderer, and the asset renderer again is used to let the asset framework know what asset corresponds to what entity. So with that, let's head back down towards the bottom. And we're going to be grabbing that asset renderer. So the assignment asset render, we'll copy it and scroll back up. And then we'll add it to the same package. Right, that takes care of the error over there. Right, and we can take a peek here at the asset renderer itself. Right, and so a lot of what we see here is getting the different attributes of our assignment itself. Right, so going through, getting a lot of the different attributes of the assignment. All right. So a couple more things that we have to do. So we have our asset integrated into Liferay's asset framework. The next thing we want to do is we want to be able to display our assets back over to the end user. And so in order to do this, we're going to have to create a JSP to help us out. And so we're going to head back down to our snippets. We're going to scroll down to our snippets under the resources folder, still here in 6B. Meta-inf resources, asset. We're going to have these two JSPs that we're going to need to copy over. Right, so I'll copy these two here. Right, and we may need to create that asset folder. I'll head back to our own project and we'll take a look. So source main resources, meta-inf resources. And yeah, it looks like we need to create that asset folder. So go ahead and right click resources, head over to new, followed by folder, and we're going to be creating a folder called asset. From there, go ahead and click finish, and we'll copy those two over. And we're going to wait a few moments for our application to redeploy. And now that the application has been redeployed, go ahead and create a new assignment and search for it using the top search bar.